Welcome to another edition of the Big Nick Energy Podcast. I'm Joe Yolk. That's Brad Dressler. How are you doing today, Brad?
I'm great, buddy. Excited to be a Jew on Christmas. So I'm really excited for that. I have a
Or are
nice
you
little
eating
dinner
Chinese food
tomorrow.
on Christmas?
I considered it, but instead bought a bunch of groceries. I'm just gonna be by myself and eat food that I made.
That's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
whatever you're into, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, Brad, how was walking in the weather today? I heard it was crappy as heck
Uh,
today. I hear it's great.
um I felt like Tom Thibodeau was yelling at me the entire time, but like directly in my earlobe. Like it was really bad.
Tom
It
Thibodeau one side, Nick Nurse the other side kind of thing.
legitimately the air was just disrespectful. And I also noticed that for tomorrow it's a high of 18 on Christmas Eve.
Oh yeah.
Yay.
Well, at least you don't have to work Christmas Eve or Christmas Day because I do. Everyone that's listening, make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Pods, and Podbean. Join our Facebook group that we have now. And most importantly, join our Chalkboard, which is the most important one. It's a newer messaging board app that is designed specifically around gambling and sports. Our page has 50 members currently. Brad, once we get to 100, what are we doing for everyone?
We're buying some Knicks tickets for you guys, and we're gonna do a little raffalooski and give them out to somebody. Some lucky winners gonna get 2 Knicks tickets, which are very expensive, mind you.
That they are. One of the first 97 people that are not 96, there's four of us. One of the first 96 people that are not the four of us will get 2 Knicks tickets bought for them.
No.
Courtesy of us from Chalkboard.
No. It's gonna be 104. Once we get to 104, 100 actual members.
That's fair. One of
Yeah.
the we'll do 102. We'll
Could
force
you
it.
imagine if we bought tickets and then you won them?
Well, we wouldn't. I think our names weren't going to be in it. Is what my thought process was.
Yeah, but everyone has
So,
a 1% chance. I like that idea.
so Brad, since the last time we were here, which the last time we were here, there was a 5-game win streak, and now we've won 8 of 9, which is incredible.
Yeah.
The Knicks beat the Bulls for a second time, which they're actually playing them again in 2 hours for some reason. I don't know who designed this schedule. 114-91. They came from behind and beat the Pacers 109-106 on the road, which was extremely surprising based on how the game went. 109-106. They also, to end the win streak, the last win was destroying Jordan Poole in Golden State 132-94. And then we lost to Toronto 113-106.
Yep.
So let's go back to the Bulls game. Was
Pacers.
really whatever. They kind of
Yeah.
seemed like they were collapsing most of the time. They've actually gotten a win this week against Atlanta, so that's exciting. But let's go back to the Pacers game. So the 109-106 was last Sunday. They were down 104-98 with 156 left. Ended up outscoring Indy 11-2 to end the game, and Randle went 6 for 6 from the line to ice it. What were your takeaways from Indiana?
I liked that we got every, the quote unquote big three involved, the mid three. I'm sorry, I apologize, everyone. I know everyone they cling on to that mid three moniker, as if it's funny, but
It's honestly a really dope, kind of funny, ironic nickname. I really like it.
could have been Donovan Mitchell. That's all. But
Yeah.
whatever. Jalen Brunson scored 30 points, 11 for 22, and then 3 for 3 from 3, which you like to see. 5 for 5 from free throw, and added a couple of rebounds and 3 assists. He also had a double-double out of Julius Randle, 25, 14, and 3. As good of a playmaker as Julius is, I do like that he's averaging far less assists per game, because obviously he's giving those duties up to Jalen Brunson, the point guard that we paid $100 million to. And then, not to overshadow him, but RJ Barrett finished that game with 24 points, which you really want to see. And a double-double out of Mitchell Robinson, mind you, right?
10 to 13, yep. 5 offensive boards, which is really what Mitch has been doing this whole time, was been offensive rebounding specifically.
Yeah. Julius has kind of proven that he really may not necessarily be that guy where it's like you need a bucket at the end of the game, he's going to go and get it for you. But one thing he has proven, he had a little bit of an issue with it last year where he would get those late foul calls, and then he would miss 1 or 2 free throws at the worst possible times. Yep. I think he's really worked on that tremendously. He is shooting really, really well from the line this year, which is something that you just want to see out of star caliber players. if you're going to have, again, I'm using the term moniker again, if you're going to have the star label, the star moniker, you want to have, you want to take advantage of the benefits. And so one of those benefits is getting some calls that maybe a younger guy or a lesser known guy won't get. And, Julius is really taking advantage. I think he's shooting over 80% from free throw. And you really want to see that. And like I said, the Pacers were going to be one of those teams that were like tanking for Wembanyama. And,
we thought.
Right. So we thought, who knew that, Buddy Hield and Miles Turner would be so good? Who knew that Benedict Mathurin would be an absolute stud as a rookie? And then you and my buddy, shout out Mark Wessel of Daily Knicks, formerly of Daily Knicks, I think. That's he was calling for Benny the whole time too. And Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, not the best game against the Knicks. So be it. Tremendous.
Halliburton having an off game and going 15-10 really isn't a testament to how good he has been since he's been drafted.
Yeah.
And it's honestly crazy to really think that Sacramento is doing all right and Indy's doing all right after that trade. Because everyone thought that they were going to keep Halliburton and trade Fox. And it just, I know it's been said over and over again, but
yeah, I mean there were the rumors that the Knicks were going to trade for De'Aaron Fox because of the Kentucky ties, but obviously that didn't happen. Tyrese Halliburton in his third season leads the league in assists per game with
10.4,
11, which is crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
Speaking of Halliburton, I know obviously since we are Knicks content, we should probably talk about this a little bit, even if we don't see too much of it as being a big deal. So Wally Szczerbiak, noted former NBA player, one-time All-Star. I feel like it's worth noting for the sake of the story.
One of the worst All-Star selections, if we're being fair, but
he averaged 18-4 that year, which
unlike
does not get
not
you
the
an
best
All-Star
efficiencies either. I think they were playing in Minnesota that year, and I think it was like post Kevin Garnett or something like that. There had to be
him and KG both made it, I think, on this.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, we love Wally. Obviously, New York home, born and raised. Obviously, has been covering the Knicks for quite a while, but one of the more undeserved. You could argue he's up there with Andrew Wiggins from last year, but neither here nor there.
I mean, Wiggins won the title at least. Wally never did that.
Right? Exactly.
So Wally Szczerbiak, after the game, after Tyrese Halliburton also took almost a half court three to try to tie the game and missed at the end. Didn't have the best fourth quarter considering how well he was doing overall. Didn't have the best shooting night, as you said before, but definitely is all-star consideration this year and will be for the next 10 years of his career. Mm-hmm. I think I'd say that pretty confidently. Allegedly Tyrese Halliburton declined a pregame interview with Rebecca Harlow of MSG, also Wally Szczerbiak's wife and mother of his child. And so Wally Szczerbiak, in what seems like retaliation after the game and after the Knicks pulled the come from behind victory, just kept calling him a wannabe all-star multiple times on the broadcast, on the post-game broadcast. And again, Wally Szczerbiak, one-time all-star, didn't really deserve the all-star nod. Just really, really weird, and it seems like out of character for him. And Tyrese has handled it so well since this came out originally. Literally, also understandably, since he's 22 years old, didn't really know anything about Wally Szczerbiak's career in the first place because very forgettable player overall. What is your take on this? Do you think Wally seems like he clearly acted out of line, but where did this even come from, Brad?
Maybe jealousy. Maybe, you got a good woman in your life and you love her. Sometimes the protector comes out of you and sometimes you just kind of act outside of your normal self. Yeah, that's definitely something. I'm sure you can attest to that. I'm sure our producer Vinny can attest to that. If you ever, your lady is your lady, right? You feel responsible for them, and
some things can irrationally make you see red.
Right. And, it probably wasn't personal at all, but Rebecca Harlow obviously had a job to do, and her superiors were probably like, hey, you got to get this interview with Tyrese for whatever reason, and she wasn't able to. And it probably came down on her, and because of that, he decided to retaliate, like you said. And I think it was uncalled for. I'm a huge fan of Tyrese Halliburton. I think he's incredible. I think he's just going to get better and better and better. You can argue he's the best playmaker in the entire NBA, and that's really not too far-fetched. So for him to be averaging,
You lead the league
right,
in assists. You got to be doing
leads the
something.
league in assists. Last I checked, it was 10.7, and that was just a few days ago. So I don't know how much it's changed since then. But the fact that he's still averaging damn near 20 points a game, and can still rebound the ball, shoots well, shoots high efficiency, and
Yep.
is leading a Pacers team that, again, like I mentioned, was originally supposed to compete for
Wembyama, not the playoffs.
Wembanyama and not the playoffs. And granted, Knicks beat them, so woo, they suck. But yeah, definitely uncalled for in my opinion.
Yeah. Crazy thing overall. Wally also apologized. I loved how Matt Barnes called him out and basically cursed him out multiple
Yeah,
times on the podcast he does. I thought that
yeah,
was hilarious and kind of merited, honestly. Wally Zerbiak, like, I mean, you're great on MSG and everything, but that was wild. Um, Following that up, I know we don't want to talk about the Golden State game too much. Golden State, just for anyone that doesn't know or doesn't follow every single day, Golden State in back-to-back games in New York lost. I have to go back and find it. I think I scrolled too far back. Up there we go. So they lost in MSG on Tuesday, 132 to 94. And then the very next day in Brooklyn, lost 143 to 113 in a game they were down 91 to
I was gonna say
51 at halftime.
91 points they gave up at halftime. That is insanity.
Oh my god. Talk
No,
about
no
like
Kyrie.
no Kyrie. Yeah, I mean wild. No, I mean yeah, the Warriors are without Steph Curry. They're without him for like a month give or take. Like that kind of sucks. And they were also without Wiggins. They've been out without Wiggins for a while, so that's literally two of their three best players. Probably their two best players actually. And it like that hurts, but I mean, for all the hype and all the everything and the contract and anything that Jordan Poole's ever tried to push for one way or another in life, if you score 30 points and your team loses by 30, man, you didn't have a good game. I don't
Right.
care what you say. Every team, our producer Vin told me this literally 10 years ago, and of all the things that he doesn't know about basketball, this one thing holds true in my head. Even the crappiest teams score 100 points. So if you're getting 100 points and you get 30 of the points, but you lost 130 to 100, you suck. And
Right.
Jordan Poole's not good on defense, and their team is trash without Steph Curry and Andrew Wiggins, which goes without saying. But they
Right.
don't look like a defending champ in the slightest.
No. There's just no argument to be made. I know, optics wise, you think of Klay Thompson versus really anyone on the Knicks. And granted, last couple of years have been him kind of trying to bounce back from those really bad injuries and not playing the game for upwards of 3 years. But you think of Klay Thompson and you think of anyone on the Knicks, to the casual fan, they would say, oh, Klay Thompson's better, right? You think of
Not
Draymond
anymore.
Green.
Yeah.
Perennial defensive player of the year in the running. Arguably one of the brightest defensive players of our generation. And you think of them versus anyone that's on the Knicks, and the casual fan will be like, oh, Draymond Green, not really. Same thing goes for Jordan Poole.
I wish I could
Joey,
remember who tweeted it, but literally one of the NBA writers I follow literally tweeted the other day against the Nets. If you're ever a defensive player of the year, or you ever think you're the best defensive player ever, you would never go up 90 points and a half. You need to shut up.
yeah, Joey, real talk,
What up?
gun to your head. You got to have one of these guys on your team, and the other one you don't. Jordan Poole, RJ Barrett. Who do you want as one of your centerpieces? I'm asking.
That is, I know I told you. So we were talking about this before the start bench cut thing, and I do think, unfortunately, where all three of their careers are at in the moment, Barrett between the hero Poole Barrett that was going for 2 years prior to this, which no one even talks about anymore. I think Barrett would be the cut currently, so I would take Poole in this scenario over RJ Barrett today, right now, based on what I've seen from both of them in their careers up until this point, especially knowing how much Poole drastically improved his game from 2 years ago to now. The dude literally played in the G League and then started averaging 23 a game. Like that's a crazy, crazy improvement. His defense is just so like we say RJ's defense is bad at times, and sometimes it is. Sometimes he gets back cuts, sometimes he gets beat off the dribble. He doesn't use his strength the best way. that all happens. Jordan Poole is a turnstile. You can literally just, for a dude that's that fast and you can just do whatever you want on him. It doesn't, and like he just shoots 30 footers, which is cool and all, but I would say if I had 0 people on my team,
it's a COVID test. It's a COVID test, but what's that look like?
A triangle?
A cone.
Oh. Yeah, oh yeah, he's a training cone. You just dribble around him. That's what I was like, what are you doing? Why are you like Delta? I don't know what's happening.
Illuminati? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. Illuminati, right. Training cones, same thing.
Yeah.
I would like if I had no team, like if it's like you literally have to start with one of these 2 players, I would pick Poole. With the Knicks construction currently, especially since we have Jalen Brunson, I would stick with Barrett for this team, obviously. Like I wouldn't trade them straight up with the Knicks right now. What would your choice be?
I'm just trying to think. If you took RJ Barrett and put him on the Warriors of last year and then swapped him with Jordan Poole, how much better would the Knicks of last year really been if it was Jordan Poole instead of RJ Barrett?
Well, then is Jordan Poole is in essence is running our point.
Yeah.
Which I think would have benefited us in various scenarios, and we already run into the RJ Barrett, Julius Randle. But I mean, want to do the same thing half the time.
He is in the lightest of terms of Steph Curry light, right?
Our defense would have been terrible, dude. Think about it.
Right.
We had Jordan Poole and Evan Fournier out there at the same time.
Oh goodness. I don't know, man.
We're giving up 120 points a game, like on a good day.
I don't think I think Jordan Poole is being seen in a similar light to RJ Barrett if they swap places. But I digress. Let's talk about the blasphemy that was the Toronto Raptors game. Granted, the Knicks did not play well. They one thing that the Knicks have a propensity to do is turn the ball over. They do it a lot. One of the things that the Toronto Raptors defense is kind of geared around is taking advantage of turnovers. It was literally just like water and oil. It was not meant to be like, yes, can we beat that team?
Brunson definitely had his worst game of the year. He had 5 turnovers and Barrett had 4.
Without a doubt. But one thing, I mean, listen, again, I don't think the Knicks played well by any means, by any stretch of the imagination. But, hey, Joey, how many free throws do you think 52-point Pascal Siakam took in that game?
Oh, isn't it like 18 or 16 or something crazy?
18. Do you know how many free throws the entire Knicks team took?
Like 12.
Right around that 18 mark. Actually, okay. I haven't done the math. I should have done this prior. Yeah,
I'm already on the page. That's
let's go. So 9 plus 6, so that's 15.
Yep.
So he took literally the same amount of free throws as the entire starting lineup for the New York Knicks.
And that is a single bench player even.
Oh, not exactly. So he took as many free throws as the entire team was able to. That's bullshit, man.
I don't blame the refs nearly as much as a lot of people do for us losing Wednesday.
Sure, it was bad officiating, but at the same time, that's a much better team, especially when they're at full health. I mean, listen, Scotty Barnes didn't look like a shell of himself in that game. He is a much, much better player. I don't know if he's like, everyone was comparing him to Giannis as a rookie. He's not Giannis. I don't think he's anywhere near it. But
Siakam's closer to that with a jump shot.
Without a doubt. But Scotty Barnes is still a hell of a player, a hell of a defender, a hell of a playmaker, and he did not look like himself. You still had OG Anunoby, you still had Fred VanVleet, and you still had Pascal Siakam. Who the hell is their 5th starter?
It's Hernan Gomez.
They were starting Bo Cruz.
No, they started Juancho Hernan Gomez,
aka Bo Cruz.
Is that what his nickname is? I've never even heard that.
You didn't see the Adam Sandler movie? What's it called?
Which there's so many.
The
Hustle, the new one.
Hustle, yeah.
No, I didn't see it yet.
That's why. Yeah, no. His
Can I just say, by the way, because I've been going back and forth with Tommy D like for the hour prior to this show. I know I was telling you guys pre-show. My whole I want RJ Barrett to play the 4 once in a while, and the Toronto Raptors and their ideology and the way they play modern day basketball.
Mm-hmm.
My example is a great example of why I think sometimes it's worthwhile to have a bunch of 6'7" guys out there. Their most used lineup in the game against us, which is probably like this for a lot of the year, just they're missing Gary Trent Jr., they're missing Precious Achua, they're missing Kem Birch in this game, so they're limited for sure, and
Mm-hmm.
they literally only had Koloko as a center who doesn't play. He's the only 7-footer that was active. Pascal Siakam, 6'8". Fred
6'9".
VanVleet, 6 foot.
6'9".
He's the shortest dude, but everyone else is OG, 6'7". Let's go to Scotty Barnes. He's 6'7". Let's go to Malachi Flynn, 6'1". He basically subs in for
Where are
Thaddeus
you
Young,
getting these
6'8".
numbers? Where are you getting these numbers?
Yahoo Sports. They're all 6'8". They're all 6'7", 6'8", or 6'9". Every single one. OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam, Chris Boucher, and who was the other dude I just looked at? Fred VanVleet, 6 foot. But everyone else, and Hernan Gomez is even listed as 6'9". So literally, it's they're playing without a center. And then people that watch basketball and are like, oh my God, you need a center, you need a rebound, blah, blah. There's a mindset that gets taught to those players by them knowing that they're all the same height. You're not relying on one dude to rebound. You're gang rebounding. You're trying to actually all do your job together as a unit. Fred VanVleet can only switch on the outside, but the other 4 guys are totally 100% interchangeable.
Yeah.
And whenever I've ever brought up I think RJ can play the 4 for literally 4 minutes a game. I'm not saying a lot. I'm not saying in crunch time anything crazy. But for RJ to be out there instead of Sims and iHeart, because I know you're with me on this. I don't want to see that lineup anymore.
There's benefits to it, but it's just not good.
It just doesn't work. We would need way better ball handling out of the other 3 guys, and we're basically relying on IQ to do everything.
Right.
Because it's what IQ McBride and then Grimes half the time. It just doesn't. Yeah, but I'd rather RJ because it's think of this: IQ McBride, Grimes, or if Cam was actually playing, Cam could also be in this instead of McBride or Grimes, depending on Barrett, and then a big. I think there's so much value to spreading and spacing the floor with that lineup. So it's we don't do that though. And then we watch the Raptors play without a center, and they're all gang rebounding. They're all available. It's 4 out. There's one guy kind of in the dunker spot, but not really because he could kind of float back and make a 3 anyway.
Yeah.
There's just value there. And we literally watched the Golden State Warriors for 4 years play with a lineup of death and use Draymond Green as a center. And then
6'6".
almost no other team does it.
Yeah.
And we play iHeart and Sims.
Yeah. Dre is, this is another major reason why I think that Tom Thibodeau is not the coach for this team, but it is what it is. He's just listen. I can love whatever. It was.
I hope
a
Ben
nice
cuts whatever the hell you just did into.
I hope he doesn't, because it was my brain just melting over the thought of Tom Thibodeau being the coach of the team long term. Listen,
he just won 8 in a row, man. He's lasting at least the rest of the year.
That's what I'm saying.
The whole Dallas him being fired thing's over.
Exactly my point, Joey. Things like this are reasons. He is a good coach. He is not a great coach, and there's guys that are younger, that are just more understanding of how much the game has evolved. Tom Thibodeau is 65. Come on, man! The game was all white dudes when he was born. That's insane. It was literally all a bunch of unathletic plumbers when he was born. The game is not what it used to be, and it's just the fact that we won a bunch of games playing Isaiah Hartenstein and Jericho Sims on the floor at the same time as the backups. It's just
that's not an excuse for why it should keep happening. That's just an ironic happenstance that he lucked into not costing them the game.
And it very well could have. Jericho Sims is we've learned is really just not all that terrible when guarding the perimeter, but it just really aggravates me that we have a coach that's just not willing to, like you said, why can't he put RJ at the 3 a little bit more? I'm sorry, at the 4. He's the same size as these other guys. He's 6'6", 6'7".
You're worried
I
about being
think
small,
of,
quote unquote. McBride is 6'1" with a 6'7" wingspan. IQ 6'3" with a 7-foot almost wingspan. Like
right.
you're not giving up height really.
Really, no, you're not. It just it I feel like if we had a Joe Mazzulla, for example, or just a more creative coach, he would be more willing to experiment. And I think that when you look at, so I always reference one picture from the We Here season, the 2020 season. There was the Slam magazine photo of
Oh, with RJ and
Barrett
Julius.
and Julius right next to each other.
Yeah.
This was 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Julius not that much bigger than RJ Barrett. Why
1
can't
inch.
he play the 4?
Literally 1 inch. He's way stronger. Like Julius can probably bench press RJ, honestly. He's like 30 pounds of muscle heavier, but 1 inch taller. It blows my mind. Dude, I was gonna say, you know what actually stinks is that like you brought up Mazzulla from Boston, and Boston also had another great coach last year who now is like kind of blackballed from the league for at least a little while, Ime Udoka. Did you see that right before we started recording that Miles Bridges and Charlotte are in talks to renew his contract? How? I don't this is why like women don't like a lot of things that men do or say about sports, because it's like we're supporting people that aren't supportive of them.
The sunglasses are off. That's how serious this is. I don't want to offend anyone by wearing sunglasses. I am firmly of the belief that people deserve a second chance. I am also firmly of the belief that you need to pay, you do the crime, you do the time, so to say, right?
Yeah.
The guy hasn't even missed a full season for doing what he did to that poor woman. I don't care.
He's supposedly going to still get suspended once he gets a contract. That's what the report says, because he actually isn't on a team yet. He can't be suspended until he's under contract.
Sure. But like he can still work out with the team, and he could do a bunch of things that he's not able to do right now because he's not under contract, which I hate. And he doesn't deserve to be back this soon. And that's just not justice. It's disrespectful to his child's mother that he did this to. I don't care what. I don't care what she did to deserve that.
Nothing. She did nothing. I'm sure no matter what it wasn't there.
It doesn't matter what it was, right? Yeah. Listen, I'm even of the belief that like I don't think a woman should put their hands on a man, but like especially if you're a 6'6" basketball player and you got a little lady, she ain't hurting you. It doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
I'm a proponent of like grab him by the sides of the arms and be like, I'm a lot bigger than you. Please stop. But other than that, outside of that, no, you don't freaking touch a woman. The fact that he's back and coming back into the league, you prevent them. You can stop them. Like, hey, shake him up a little bit. Like, stop it. Stop it.
I always think of it as like, like the old cartoons where it's like you have the big dude putting his hand on the little guy, like stop trying to hit me kind of thing. Like based on height and size difference for a lot of scenarios, that it's like you can fall into that category. Don't clap someone. I don't want us to get too deep into this. We already have enough about this conversation though. It's just blows my mind that they're literally talking to him already. It's been 2 months, 3 months.
It's been a few months, right?
Unbelievable.
Whatever.
Brad, so we're gonna do the idea that you got from Breadbasket from IG in 1 second, just real quick. So we're playing the Bulls in about an hour and a half. Even though people are gonna hear this after that, what's your prediction for the game? Do we beat the Bulls again?
The Bulls are still a really good team, and they do scare me, even though we beat the brakes off of them the last 2 times in Chicago. Last I checked, it was a 5-point spread.
5.5 now. Yep.
Upwards of 5.5.
Yep.
We now know that Quentin Grimes is playing, which is tremendous. They don't have
Caruso's out.
They don't have Caruso, but my fear is that DeMar DeRozan is another one of those typical players that has never expressed an interest in coming to the Knicks, which is fine. Even though I think we've expressed some interest in him, he crushes at Madison Square Garden. I think he's averaging, if I'm not mistaken, upwards of like 30-something points per night in the last few seasons. Let's actually check that. Fill the airtime for a second, Joey.
All right. Well, what your prediction is? What you think the Bulls win or not? While you look,
no, I still think we win, and I also think that we cover
that
5.5 points, but it could be tough.
So I do also think we beat the Bulls, which means now we're going to lose to the Bulls because last week we both said we thought we were going to lose one of two and we won both. So now we're going to be wrong. So 76ers at home, Christmas Day, noon. What do you think? I think we take an L. I'm going to be straight up. It's not even that it's the 76ers. It's that we are bad at noon home games.
Yeah.
Just
on Christmas
over and over again.
But it is on nationally televised TV and Julius comes to play.
Usually, last game I thought that, and he was the only part of the leg of the parlay I didn't hit because he actually was like, you know what, we already beat the Warriors by 30. I don't need a score at all in the third quarter.
Stats first, Knicks.
And then so two other games before we would come back. The second to last one is at the Mavs on Tuesday, December 27th. The Mavs are also low key falling apart a little bit, so I actually think we beat the Mavs in Dallas personally.
Yep.
Agreed.
I think we, for whatever reason, we do own that team, and that was the last loss we took before our little road trip. Also, Julius likes to play well at home, so that's gonna be exciting.
Yep.
So just wanted to put this out there. He's averaging 22 points for his career against the Knicks. I do want to go over one thing though. So
DeMar, you said you're DeMar DeRozan, right?
DeMar DeRozan, I apologize. Okay. So the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times he's played the Knicks.
Yep.
At New York. 37, 34, 27, 21, 32, and then 9. But
9's super random.
He's eclipsed. He's eclipsed 27 points. 1, 2,
4 out of the 6 times.
3, 4. Yeah, 4 out of the 6.
And then just has a random 9-point game.
Whatever. He only played 28 minutes. Maybe he was hurt, whatever the case may be. But yeah, no, he loves to play in Madison Square Garden. So I thought about taking his over for points on one of the legs. It was 25.5, and the action was going over. Yeah.
Just he got so close to not going over last time and he literally only got there because of fouls and free throws that I feel like usually what happens is if a team gets bad calls one game, they end up getting calls in their favor the next game, especially if both games are in the same arena. So I imagine that the league isn't, obviously we don't have the same refs as we did on Wednesday, but I also think that calls might go a little more our way this time.
Both guys that I tail for picks, both said
over
25.5. So I would expect a big game, but again, I really do hope that the Knicks are able to pull it out. Not that Caruso really posed a threat to Julius Randle defensively, but I mean he is a little bit of
annoying.
Yeah, he definitely is annoying. Let's hope, is his ego bruised? Is that why he's out from the last time we played them?
He got concussed against the Land.
Oh, so it wasn't.
No. He just got a concussion. And then the other game. So the other game after Dallas is we play at San Antonio. I can't imagine we lose that for any reason.
Oh, the next time we record this podcast, we'll be on with Evan Townsend. That's going to be Wednesday evening. I don't know if you're going to be able to be there or not, Joey.
I am. Yeah, my new work schedule is I work 6 to 2. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. So you're going to meet Evan. Evan's really cool. Evan is a San Antonio beat reporter. For I forgot the name of the site right now, but he's a closet Knicks fan. Like he really does like the Knicks, even though he's from Texas. Like I've caught him in I know him because of all the times I've seen him in Knicks spaces. So he's really cool dude. I'm excited to actually meet him face to face because that's the first time. That's how the internet works, But yeah, Evan's really cool, and we're gonna do a breakdown with him night before the next San Antonio game, and that's gonna be.
And
really
he's gonna tell us how San Antonio is mastering the tank for Wemby.
Yeah, they're doing a pretty good job at it. They suck.
So, Brad, are you ready for the game?
Yeah, sure. Let's rock it out.
All right, courtesy of Bread Basket from IG, we're stealing your idea. Thank you.
Totally
we're making this a Knicks edition.
Your shit.
What did you say?
I said totally robbing their shit.
Totally robbing this. Just Bread Basket 3030 if anyone wants to follow them. They already have a crap ton of followers. I don't think they need our help, but I'll mention them anyway. So Knicks edition, Brad, 2018-2019 season. Do you want to maybe preface it for those who are listening to the podcast? And obviously we're going to cut this up and put it on. So the way the game works is that I give Brad the points per game for one player, the assists per game for one player, and the rebounds per game for one player from the same year. His job is to think of what all three of those numbers are, add them together, and then give me the total. That's basically the whole game. So we got Kevin Knox, and we're only doing whole numbers.
This
we're not
is
doing
what
like
year?
decimals or anything. Ready to go?
What season?
2018, 2019.
Oh, okay.
So we got Kevin Knox points per game, Emmanuel Mudiay assists per game,
Oh
and
no.
Enes Freedom rebounds per game.
$22?
Close-ish, kind of. It's 28. Kevin Knox
28.
was at 13.
So
Mudiay was at
that's
4,
where
which makes it 17, and
that's
then
where I messed up.
Freedom was at 11, so it's 28.
2018, 2019, they were still trying to make Kevin Knox work. You're right.
Yes.
I was thinking it was in the realm of like 7 or 8. That's why. And
yeah,
I thought,
it was before he finally got put on the bench for good.
yeah, and then I thought Emmanuel Mudiay was around 5, and then I assumed Cantor was probably around 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Knox 13 instead of a 7 is definitely what threw you off.
For sure. So now this is for the 2017-18 season.
Okay.
Lance Thomas points.
Okay.
Doug McDermott rebounds.
Interesting.
Enes Freedom Cantor assists.
Oh. You already said rebounds. I was like, oh, well, that's 12. So Lance Thomas points, Doug McDermott rebounds, and his Cantor assists.
2017, 2018.
Okay. I'm going to go with 21.
Oh, you're just as far off as I was.
What was it, like 29?
Tell me what your breakdown is.
So Lance Thomas, I was like, it's either 8 or 12, and I couldn't figure out which number it was closer to. So I went with 12, but my thing is that I thought McDermott only got like 4 or 5 rebounds, thought he got like 6 maybe, and Cantor got like 3 assists at most, like 2.7, 2.8. So that's how I got to 21.
The answer is 9.
9 total.
Yep.
Wow.
4 points for Lance Thomas in 2017-18.
Okay.
3 rebounds per game for Doug McDermott, and then 2 assists for.
So the 3 and 2 I was pretty on. It's just I put 12 instead of 4.
Yeah, I knew one of them. At least one of them would throw you for a loop.
Yeah,
because Cantor is not like the worst playmaking center, but like 2 is around.
No, yeah, I mean, if you like, my thought process was like he's either at like 2.4 or 2.6.
Yeah.
But Lance Thomas has gotten double digits before, and I'm like, what year was that? When did he play most off the bench? Like,
yeah,
hard game. It's not easy.
Fun though. I'd like to continue it for sure.
We should definitely do that every time. So just to clarify, we both have the Knicks going 3-1 before the next time we record. Win Bulls, lose Sixers, win Mavs, win San Antonio. Is that all the games?
Do we know who's healthy for Sunday? Do we have an injury report?
The Sixers currently still have Tyrese Maxey out, and everyone else is available. Tyrese Maxey will definitely be out because I think he's out for another like 2-3 weeks.
That means they still have Toby. They got James Harden back. Yeah, we're gonna lose that game for sure.
Yeah.
Then those guys also like to show out in New York City as well. So yeah, I like a 3-1. I like a 3-1 week. I do.
Word up. Same here. And just so everyone knows, Dallas is falling apart, and they also have Josh Green, Maxi Kleber, Finney Smith. I mean, Kemba Walker's on their team now, for what it's worth, and so is Ntilikina. But Green, Kleber, and Finney Smith are all contributors, and they're all not playing, so that's not good.
Truly hope they don't fall apart that much, because if they like into the lottery, right?
They get their pick somehow.
But wait, no. So our pick that we have of theirs is top 10 protected.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're in that top 14 for some way, and they move up a little bit, they get their pick back. That would suck.
I know.
That would suck so bad.
Yeah. It would.
But
it definitely would.
Would that pick really be worth it if Luka eventually asks out? I mean, if he doesn't make it back to the playoffs, he's gone within like a year for sure. So,
or they get one of the players from one of the deepest drafts in recent memory, and then they're back in the Western Conference Finals a year from now with a good solid rotation.
I mean, the odds of that guy being able to produce like Luka did a year or two into his career is it's a tall task.
The Mavericks are not the Knicks, right?
That's true.
Which means they might move up to number 1, baby. Who knows?
Right. Right.
All right, Brad, this was great. Again, everyone like, share, subscribe, and comment on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Pods, and Podbean. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Join our Facebook group, and most importantly, join our Chalkboard. We're 50 people away from giving a 2-person ticket giveaway to an upcoming Knicks game. Brad, where can people find you at?
As always, at Brad Dressler 24 on Twitter and Instagram.
Nice.
Also, you mentioned our Facebook page. Our Facebook page is pretty cool too. That one's almost at 100 members, and we literally made that less than a week ago.
4 days ago, yeah, 5 days ago.
Very excited about the growing that growing that community on there as well. Always as well. You can as well at Big Knick Energy as well. At Big Knick Energy _ on Twitter, at Big Knick Energy on Instagram, Facebook, Chalkboard now, which is really cool. What about you, Joey?
At Joey Landolfa on Twitter and Instagram. And then I guess we're going to promote our Facebooks, Joey Landolfa on there as well. Let's go Knicks. Let's beat the Bulls for the 3rd game in a row, and let's hit my parlay.
Oh, and also have a happy and healthy
holidays
season. Holidays, because PC culture, baby.
Merry Christmas, Mahana Kwanzaa, New Year.
Christmas, Mahana Kwanzaa. I love it.
Peace.